All right, in this video we're going to cover the feeding plan, or this week's assignment for the course, and it's going to be pretty straightforward. Again, just a reminder, you're basing this feeding plan off of your animals that you've been choosing for this horse project throughout the course. So this is kind of a review, that you want to base what you're going to feed on those animals, and then also your training plan. So not only are you going to be concerned with the type, breed of animal, the size of the animal, and the activity of the animal are all going to have implications on what you're going to feed them. So what we're going to do for this feeding plan, and I thought this would probably be the best way to kind of take you through this website and kind of step by step and determining what your requirements are of your animal, because we know that's what you're going to base your feeding plan on. So you can go to this indicated website, and this is from the National Research Council here in the United States that sets the standards or requirements of what horses need. Now, if you have a donkey or a mule or hybrid, you can go ahead and still use this website. Their nutrient requirements are going to be relatively the same. So you go ahead and click on that link. And then what I'm going to ask you to do is go ahead and click on the animal specification. So I have it there in red. So you go ahead and click on that tab. And then it's going to ask you to input some values. Now, the first thing you're going to have to do is estimate the body weight of your animal. Now, since most of you are probably using a hypothetical animal, just look at that breed standard, that type of either horse or mule or donkey, and come up with an estimated weight. Now, this NRC website is based on the metric system, so if you do use pounds, you're going to have to convert pounds to kilograms. Again, very easy. I provide you a link in the assignment sheet, or just you can go on the web and do a search for metric conversion. It's there's a million online calculators. It's very, very simple to do. So once you have that in kilograms, you're going to want to go ahead and input there in the indication on the estimated weight. Now, because I've been preaching up to 3% body weight, we're going to want to change that intake level to 3%. It's automatically set at 2%. We want to change that to 3%. So go ahead and do that. And then you're going to have to decide kind of the activity or the stage of life the animal's in. So you can see there's some choices. You have the maintenance, the stallion, or if it's a growing animal, pregnant, lactating, working, or training. So you can click on those, and then some of them, as you can see here with the adult at maintenance, so that one will tell you is average or hard or easy keeper. Or if you go to the pregnancy one, it will ask you the stage of pregnancy. Or if you go to the working training, it's going to break it down by low, moderate, high, intense, stuff like that. So you'll click on that and then indicate the intended level, because that's going to have an effect, as we know, on their nutrient requirements. All right, so looking at this output table, the first thing we're going to look at is the digestible energy, the DE in megacals per day. So if you see there on this table, it's 16.65 megacalories per day that this animal is going to need in their diet. So we'll write that down. Then we're going to find out what the crude protein is, the CP, so crude protein in grams per day, and it's going to be indicated there. And then the other one we'll ask is the lysine, just to reinforce that lysine is an important consideration in equine diets. So go ahead and write that down in grams per day. And then the other thing you're going to want to pull off this table is the total, under the densities tab is the total intake in kilograms. So in this example, that's 10 kilograms of total intake per day is what, we're estimating that this animal would need. Now, after you write those down, we're going to ask you to briefly, in 3 sentences or less, describe your approach to feeding this animal. So you can list, the type of feeds you may use, especially what's in your region of the world, the proportions of forage to concentrate. So you can go back to those lectures and see what we recommend for different stages of life and also different activities, and your feeding frequency. So what's some of your management? I'm going to feed them, twice a day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day, in these amounts. So, go ahead and answer those in 3 sentences or less. Try to keep it brief. And that's it for the feeding plan. So, the benefit is going to be, navigating that website and seeing what your animal's requirements are. Now, there is the grading rubric for this week's assignment. So we're going to ask you, at the end of this week to go ahead next week and finish up your grading the feeding plan of up to 3 of your peers. And again, remember, English may not be their primary language, so take that into consideration. You're really looking for content. It's not presentation. So go ahead and look at that grading rubric and give your feedback to some of your peers on their feeding plans. All right, so your feeding plan is going to be due by the end of this week. And then also don't forget that you have to peer eval three of your colleagues by the end of this week of their training plans, which you all turned in last week. And then the peer evals of the feeding plan will be due at the end of next week. So just pay attention to the calendar on the due dates and try to get that all in.